Okay, so today we are continuing our series with consumer arithmetics, and today we're going to be focusing on loss. In our previous videos, we would have looked at the whole concept and key definition of terms of under consumer arithmetics. And even prior to this one, we would have looked at the whole concept of calculating profit, cost price, and selling price. Today, we are going to look at calculating basically a loss, the cost price, and the selling price. So that is our objective for today. So let's get straight on to it. First thing first, here we have the formula. So this is a formula that we'll have to commit to memory or simply understand what it's saying and basically make sense out of it. Cramming is one way to recall, but understanding it is a better way to remember. So it makes sense to understand that a loss is equal to the cost price minus the selling price. And again, remember, we already defined these concepts. Cost price is the original price attached to an item, and the selling price will be the price that the seller decides to put to an item. So that has necessarily nothing to do with the price he bought it for, but it has to do all about that person. So however you choose to put it, you can put it. And in maths, of course, we would see it written like this. So L is equal to CP minus SP. L here standing for referring to the loss, and CP cost price, SP selling price. Like when we did with the profit, we can also play around with this formula a little. So again, not always you will be asked to calculate the loss. Sometimes you can be asked to calculate the selling price, the SP, or sometimes even the cost price, the CP. So how do we go about doing this? Again, simple algebra, and we can just go back to the video when we did transposition. I will put it on the thumbnail again so that we can follow it. So supposing I want to find out what is the cost price, here the cost price, I simply have to get rid of the selling price. So I move the selling price on the other side. Notice that it is negative here. So when it ends up on the other side now, it will be positive. So that will be loss is equal, well, the loss plus the selling price. That would give me the cost price. So when dealing with a loss, this is how we go about finding what is the cost price. And from this formula, we could find out what is the selling price, and again, when dealing with a loss. So with this case here now, all I need to do is move the loss onto the other side, making the SP the subject of the formula. And as a result, this would leave me with now the selling price will be equal to the cost price minus the loss. And this is how I will get my selling price. Notice that the loss over here is positive, the L. So when I bring it over, it will become negative. And here we basically have three formulas in which, of course, we can commit to memory. If we want, we could commit to memory. Or like I usually like to say, we could learn this one main formula here. And from this formula, we can derive the other two. So again, it's up to you. If you want to sit and memorize cost price is equal to loss plus selling price, and here you want to memorize that the selling price is the cost price minus the loss, you can take that road too. But I think that's a lot more difficult, right? And let's move on to our activity. Again, as I was saying when we did the profit, sorry, sometimes questions are presented in one of two ways. It's either they give us a table, this is the tabular form, or sometimes they give us a word problem. And again, I'll stick to the tabular form. The next video, when we do profit percentage, we will stick to some word problem so that you'll get some variations as to how the questions and so on could come. Here, I will just write my main formula at the top so that we'll keep remember. So we have loss is equal to, remember, CP, that's the cost price. That's the only formula I need to remember. From this one, I could find the rest. So loss is equal to the CP minus the SP, cost price minus the selling price. So for the first one here, we are asked to find what is the loss. They gave us the selling price, they gave us the cost price, we need to find the loss. And here we're using the formula as is, wholesale. So the loss here would be equal to the selling price, the cost price, which is $60 according to the given question. Our loss there is $60, cost price $60 minus, in keeping with the formula, the selling price. And our selling price according to the table there would be $40. And here we just perform our arithmetic. So 60 minus 40, that should give us a sum of $20. And just like that, we found our loss. So our loss here, if the selling price is $40 and the cost price is $60, our loss made would be 20. And logically, it makes sense. Think about it. You bought something for $40, but now you went and sell it for $40. Sorry, you bought something for $60 and now you went and sell it for $40. So yes, you did indeed lose $20 because you sell it for $20 less. So sometimes applying logics could also help us see the answer. Of course, however, in this case, because the numbers are smaller, it's easier to see. On the examination condition, or when we're testing the skill here to apply loss, profit, whatever, you may not see these small numbers. As I said before, you might see a higher number, thousands, or you might even see a decimal, because those are the things that usually throw off students. But regardless of the number, the concept remains the same. The concept would not change. For here, number 2 now, we have a loss of $75 and we have the cost price of $100. So they want us to find out what is the selling price. How much did we sell this item such that we made a loss of 75 and the cost price was 100. So how do I go about doing this again? I will find what is the cost price. And to do that, sorry, what is the selling price? And to do that, I will revert to my formula at the top here. I could shift and move around, and at the ending of the day, I know that my selling price, again, you could go back to the previous slide, will be equal to the cost price plus, not plus, but minus the loss. That would be what my formula would be. And how did I get that? I did simple algebra. So I moved this SP to the other side. Good. So that would have let me, I'm just showing you transposition. So that would have been SP plus L is equal to CP. Good. And now I want SP to be the subject, so I move the L over here. Over here it's positive, so when I go over it's negative. So that is SP would be equal now, all standing alone there, to CP minus L. Notice, same formula I have there. So don't think I cram this formula, I'll memorize it. No, 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 no. I ain't have time for that. Believe me. I simply look at this formula and I perform these steps here in my mind, mentally. Or you might think I have a notebook here written also. No, I don't have that, honestly. I just shift. I play around with the formula. So as I said, once I know one formula, I could find the rest. And again, you could do it too once you understand how this whole algebra, making a subject of the formula work. If you honestly don't understand, that's why I did my first series on that. So you could go back at those, look at all of the videos. I look at the various strategies to form the subject of the formula. And once you master them, believe me, you can do this easily. You should have no problems with any formulas from here on. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't have no issues in trying to memorize any formulas from today on if you know how to manipulate the subject in any given formula. Take it from me. Had I known this is my school days, I would have spent less time cramming formulas and just learning concepts, because there's no need to memorize all these formulas. You could find them on your own. Oh, sorry for ranting there, but that is something you should know. Right, so let's find back to our question here. Let's find our selling price here. And for our selling price now, since the formula is how we want it, we can plug in our given values. So the cost price here is given as 100. So again, and notice your units, please. They're very important. Never ignore your units. So here I have $100. You have to put your dollar sign. Otherwise, I would not know what the 100 represent. And by I mean whoever is correcting or reading your work. Last year is given as $75. So I have my $75 here. And that's it. So what was my selling price now? My selling price would have been $25. That is 100 minus 75. And I am not sure what this person bought and sold there, but if I buy something for $100 and I have to sell it for $25, I don't know, but something wrong somewhere. But that's the world we're living in sometimes. It happens. Maybe the thing did make it time, and that's the best he could have gotten at the moment. Possibly. Right. And that brings us to the very last question now. And here we want to find out what is the cost price. So they gave us the loss and they gave us the selling price. So we just need to find out what is the cost price. And to do that again, all I need to do is manipulate this formula at the top here to find out what is the cost price. So how will I do that? I just get rid of the SP. So I send the SP on this side here. And once I do that, I will end up with cost price will be equal to, let's see, the loss plus the selling price. Yes, this formula is correct. Because notice the loss is already positive here, and this SP, the selling price, is negative. So when I send him over on the other side, it will become positive. Yes, so that is about correct. So my cost price here now would be loss plus selling price. The loss as given there is $40, and the selling price as given here is $80. Units, very important, $80. And if I do my arithmetic here, I perform my addition here, I would find out that my cost price in this given question is $120. If my math serves me well, that's 40 plus 80. Yes, that should be 100. And I just come back and I complete my table here. $120. That's my cost price if I sold it for 80 and I made a loss of 40. And yes, this also makes sense when you analyze it, right? So this will bring us to the end of today's video with dealing with loss. So in the next video, we're going to be looking at profit percentage. So again, please remember to like, share, subscribe with your classmates, colleagues, or anybody that might be interested in knowing this information. And until then, see you again later.